All right, here we got the notes for the law of cosines. So law of cosines can be used under the following conditions. So you know two sides and a non-corresponding angle. That's if you want to find the third side. So what that means is if you have your triangle, ABC, remember sides are across from the angles. Non-corresponding means the side that does not go with the angle. So if I wanted to find angle A, for example, I would need to know two sides, B and C, and a non-corresponding angle. So the angle doesn't correspond to the sides that I know. It corresponds with the angle that I have. So sometimes it's referred to as the included angle between B and C. So side angle side, where the angle is between the two sides. If you know all three sides, you can find any angle by using this relationship. Now, sometimes it is helpful to think about solving first. So in this case, if I want to have just A, I would just have to take the square root of both sides. And I would have that expression. And similar thing here, if I wanted to know capital A by itself, I would have to take the inverse cosine to move it across. Now, finding a missing side is the one that's more relatively straightforward. So to find any side, you need to know the other two sides, B and C, and the angle that corresponds with the side you're trying to find. Now, the letters don't matter. So like if I wanted F and I had triangle FGH, I would need to find side F. I need to know angle F and sides G and H. For your angle, order does matter. You'll have all three sides. The thing you have to keep track of is that this last angle in the numerator, the one that's being subtracted, that one is the one that corresponds to the angle you're trying to find. B and C are the two angles that do not correspond to your angle, and they appear on both top and bottom. The only time the corresponding side appears is at the end of the numerator after the subtraction sign. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Triangle FGH, H is 7.1, F is 6.7, and G is 103. Find the length of G. It's in here centimeter. So G will equal the square root. We'll do the generic version first. H squared plus F squared minus 2HF times the cosine of G. So using the letters we have in our problem instead of A, B, and C. So this would be the square root of 7.1 squared plus 6.7 squared minus 2 times 7.1 times 6.7 times the cosine of 103. And because that is all numbers, if you are careful with your calculator, that can go in your calculator all at once, which I will do. Oops, 7.1. Cosine of 103. Which according to my calculator to the nearest tenth gives me little g is 10.8. All right, so down here, EFG, so GE and angle F, we're trying to find little f. So F would equal square root. So I'm not going to do the generic version here. So side squared plus side squared, 2 times side times the cosine of my angle. And once again, those are all numbers, so they can all go in your calculator. 4.3 squared plus 9.1 squared minus 2 times 4.3 times 9.1 times the cosine of 116. To the nearest tenth gives me F is equal to 11.6. All right, so on 3 and 4, we're looking for our missing angle. So this one we do have to pay attention. So we're going to find angle A. So A is equal to the inverse cosine, B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. So that's just the formula from the front. So fill in our values. So cosine -1. So B squared, B is 7.9. So 7.9 squared. C is 5.3. 5.3 squared minus 3.4 squared. So you have to be careful because these numbers up here, for this problem at least, are not in alphabetical order. It's B, C, then A. So not A first, then B, then C. On the bottom, 2 times B would be 7.9 times C would be 5.3. Now, if you're feeling real confident with your calculator abilities, you can do this all at once. If you're not, I would work out the numerator first and then the denominator. So I'll go straight to the answer here, and then I'll show you what the intermediate step would look like. So inverse cosine of, let's see, we got 7.9 squared plus 5.3 squared minus 3.4 squared on top, and on bottom 2 times 7.9 times 5.3. And then close the parenthesis, to the nearest degree, I would get 19 degrees. So the intermediate step would kind of look like this, the inverse cosine. And then I would just work out just what's the top, 7.9 squared plus 5.3 squared minus 3.4 squared. So on top I'd have 78.94. On bottom, 2 times 7.9, 2 times 7.9 times 5.3, 83.74. And then if I just type that in, I should get this 19 back. The thing I'd be careful of is if you try to type this in exactly as I have it written, 7.9 squared plus 5.3 squared minus 3.4 squared divided by 2 times 7.9 times 5.3, only the 3.4 is going to get divided by the 2. Everything else is not. So if you're going to put it all at once in your calculator, you oftentimes need to put an extra set of parentheses there and an extra set of parentheses there to make your calculator do it correctly. Otherwise, just do it in 2 separate steps. Okay, so this one, find angle I. So the formula, if we have I and we have g, h, and I, it's going to be g squared plus h squared minus I squared, because the one at the end here has to match what we're solving for. And on bottom, 2 g and h. So if I do my substitution, let's see here, g squared, that's 790 squared plus h squared, so 200 squared, minus I squared, 820 squared. On bottom, 2 times g times h. And then if I go to my calculator, and I'm careful, I can type that in all at once. So 790 squared plus 200 squared minus 820 squared, 2 times 790 times 200 on bottom. And that gives us, to the nearest whole degree, 92 degrees. And that brings us to the end of the section.